Can I sell my home if I owe back taxes?
Can you sell your home if you owe back taxes? Absolutely. Yeah. And it's kind of a tricky question because owing taxes is dealt differently depending where you're at. Just like even if you're in St. Louis County, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to go in depth in this. That being said, it is dealt differently with, like in St. Louis County, for instance, for the city, they have different processes. But yes, you can. So if you owe back taxes, even if your house in the city or in the county goes to auction and somebody buys it for the back taxes, there's a redemption period in there where you still can sell your home. You will have to pay interest to the person who bought it at the, didn't technically buy it, but they put down the money for the taxes at the auction. You'll have to end up paying them some interest, but yes, absolutely, we do it all the time. It makes much more sense than just losing your house.
Is there a fear for those that have lost their tax, what they owed in taxes to someone that purchased those taxes? Is there anything that can happen? Can they lose their home?
After the redemption period of that, they do, yes. The house will go to the person that put down the money. And again, if you're in St. Louis City, it's dealt differently. Don't quote me on this. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't think there's a redemption period in St. Louis City.
Okay.
So you do want to call someone like me to come out or sell your house traditionally, whatever your situation is, prior to that. Obviously, sooner than later in any of those situations, you definitely want to do that. I don't know people's financial situation as far as on their house, but most of the time you're going to do much better off if you just sell the home as opposed to let somebody buy the home for back taxes.
All right, which they don't, and that's the weird thing about back taxes, right? That you can end up owning the home just by acquiring the back taxes.
Right. Yeah.
You don't get a fair market value for your home.
No.
You're not going to get a cash offer. It's just you lose it.
Yeah. So in theory, if you were, like, say you're in St. Louis County and you owed $10,000 in back taxes, I don't know the value of the home, that would dictate how much you owe, but let's say you did. And you go the time frame, it goes up to auction, someone buys the back taxes, which basically means they pay off the $10,000. There's again, not a lawyer, but there's a 2-year redemption period from what I understand, where that person that bought it doesn't have actual ownership of it until after the 2 years. But once the 2 years goes by, at that point in time, they have to jockey around with some legal stuff with lawyers, but it becomes theirs. There's no proceeds that go to the original owner that owed the back taxes. Mm-hmm. That person just basically bought it for the $10,000, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Sell the home, pay off the back taxes,
right,
and make a few bucks.
Sure, that makes sense.